Alright, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Akeen. Welcome to today's final blog. Here to give you one last scout report for today on a player headed towards the 2016 NFL Draft. For this blog, I'm here to talk about Kevin Hogan, the quarterback coming out of the Stanford Cardinals. Now, he actually had a great career as the Cardinals quarterback, hailing from McLean, Virginia, and he was the successor to Andrew Luck. He decided to actually redshirt in 2011 behind Andrew Luck before finally getting the starting nod during the 2012 season. And over the course of his career, he passed for over 9,300 yards, 75 touchdown passes, and 29 interceptions, leading the team to actually a couple of Pac-12 championships as well as a big Rose Bowl win over the Iowa Hawkeyes this past season. Now let's talk about his strengths and weaknesses. First and foremost, he definitely has a good size at 6'2", 217 pounds, pretty decent. Not as elite size as I mentioned as compared to my top quarterbacks, but still a decent size at quarterback, and he does have broad shoulders and a well-built frame to play the quarterback position. Now, like Andrew Luck, he's actually a very underrated quarterback who has the mobility to give you some tough yardage on the ground as a running quarterback. Now, he can play in shotgun as well as the pro style offense. He has both experiences with that, just like Andrew Luck. And I kind of like his play a little bit. I actually am not a big fan of his play, but he still has a couple of good mechanics as far as his throwing motion a little bit. Still needs some things he needs to tweak with, but definitely he's a good managerial type quarterback who could be a good backup quarterback in the National Football League. That's just what I believe. Now, he does have some weaknesses, though. Now, he doesn't have the best mobility, but he actually still has decent mobility. Just needs to work things out as far as his mobility as a passer. He could definitely scramble a little bit and run the football with his legs, but sometimes I just hope he just do a better job keeping the play alive as a passer and using the mobility to evade sacks and continue to focus on throwing the football down the field. Another thing is he needs to work on is he struggles sometimes with the deep ball. He needs to do a better job with that, and I just think that's something he needs to crisp up. Now, also, you need to point out this player is a decent quarterback, and like I said, he's a good managerial quarterback because he had such a great weapons around him. This past season, he had Christian McCaffrey, a Heisman Trophy finalist, and over the course of his career, the Stanford Cardinal defense has been the big names overall for the team, keeping the momentum going on both sides of the field. It's really the defensive units that's what make the Stanford Cardinals so powerful. And also, let's not forget about the offensive line for Stanford. They had some good NFL first rounders coming out of Stanford during Hogan's career, first round of caliber type players, and I did mention a couple of players in the Stanford Cardinal offensive line in my top 10 respectively. Now, I think that Kevin Hogan is a decent quarterback, but like I said, he had a lot of weapons around him. He wasn't really like an elite type of quarterback who kind of actually faded off a little bit further into my draft board, and some people thought he could have came out last season as a junior. He did the smart decision staying in as a senior, 27 touchdown passes to just 8 picks. Now, I see him as a solid quarterback, and my overall projection for him, I actually see him going into the 4th round of this year's draft. I don't really see much before that, but I do see him as a good, solid backup at best. I don't really see him as an NFL starter. He is pretty accurate. He's actually one of the most accurate passers coming out of this draft class with actually over 65% accuracy. I give him that, but he just struggles with the deep ball, and many teams want their quarterback to throw the deep ball. He needs to show a little bit more comfortability in that, and we kind of really haven't seen how he can actually take control of the games, which is another thing that we need that I haven't seen too much of because of how good the Stanford Cardinal defense and other weapons like Christian McCaffrey has been taking over, and Heath Hogan has been getting credit based on more of their play compared to his. So that's why I had to bump him to the 4th round of this year's draft. Now, the next time to catch you guys will be early Sunday morning, in which I will give you much more scout reports headed towards this year's draft. Thank you for watching today's vlogs. I'm your man, Keenan McCall. Be easy.